Well, if you've ever been to New Mexico in the fall, you've probably seen long ropes of chili peppers hanging outside to dry. And these make a wonderful decoration. But in addition to being a very nice decoration, they're also a very practical way to dry chilies. Now, usually you'll see these with the larger hot chilies such as Anaheim's drying on them, but we're going to use our Thai dragon chilies to make a miniature ristra. Now, ristra is the name for these, and basically it came about as being a way to dry the chilies in a spot that wouldn't take up space, and they also could get good air circulation. Now, what you need to do for this is leave the peppers on the plant until they turn red and then harvest them. Now, one thing to think about when you are harvesting your chilies and you want to make a ristra out of them is to harvest them with as much stem on them as possible. You don't want a short stem, but you want to have a nice long stem. And then you just take the chilies in sets of 3 and take a piece of string and tie these. Now, you're going to want to tie these up close to the top here. So I take and wind my string around about 3 times, and then tie that down in a knot. Now, you want to get this tight here so that it doesn't fall loose. Now, one thing that I did discover when I was making these is that if you pick your chilies, it's a good thing to let them dry down a day or 2, because you'll notice as they dry down, their stems lose water and they shrink. And when you tie them together when they're at this stage, as they shrink, they'll fall out. And so if you let them lose just a little bit of water before tying them, you can get them tighter, because you want them tight enough so that they won't pull out of the bundle, but you don't want them so tight that you're going to break the stem. And you do want to get these tied in bundles, though, within about 3 to 4 days, because you don't want these stems to lose their pliability and break off. So once I've tied these in bundles, now I'm going to take all of these chilies here and tie them in sets of 3. Now, you'll notice over here I've got a pile, and I've already got them all tied in sets of 3, and I've just cut the excess string off here. Now, the other thing that I need for this is a long piece of jute, or some people like to use wire, a coat hanger or something like that, but jute works pretty well for this. And this is about a 4-foot long piece, and I've doubled it over here. And if you have a hook or something to hang this on while you're working, that would work very well. But I'm just going to hold mine. And then what I do to start making my ristra is take one of these sets of 3 peppers, and I'm going to take the middle pepper and just place that through the loop like that, so they're hanging. Then what I'm going to do is just braid the peppers like you would if you were braiding hair. I'll put that one over that way, bring this one over like this, and leave them. Now, that's the bottom set of peppers. Now, for the next set, what I'm going to do is I'll take these. Now, instead of the middle pepper, I'm going to take one of the sides and I'm going to put it around like this. Then again, I'll braid these as I would hair. And then just kind of slide. Now, on the other side, I'll go ahead and turn this around. I'm going to take and do the same thing. Now, basically what I'm going to be doing is repeating this process over and over. Now, the nice thing about this is you can hang this up somewhere in your kitchen, and as you harvest your chilies, you can just add to your ristra. And the ones that you've already harvested can begin drying, and you can just add from the top. Now, when you've actually got this full, you'll have a nice long string of chilies that you can pick off and use all through the winter. Now, if you're wanting to use these just for decorations, then you can actually spray these with shellac, and that will help them hold their color and keep them from going bad. But if you're going to cook with these, you won't want to spray them with the shellac. And also, in New Mexico and places where it's very arid, they hang these outside to dry because they don't have any humidity. But I would suggest here in Oklahoma, you would probably want to dry them inside because the humidity outside would cause them to go ahead and spoil. And one last thing you want to look for is be sure not to use peppers that had any kind of damage on these, even though you may be trying to collect all the peppers you can, because these will actually turn yellow and they will discolor your ristra. Well, we've got a pretty good start here, and as we continue to harvest peppers from the garden, we will just add them to our string. And this is a great way to both preserve peppers and make a nice decoration for your kitchen.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.